So, thought I'd do this video. I saw a couple other videos, people talking about them. And what is it? The nagamaki. And a lot of people are kind of like bewildered by this thing. And the nagamaki is in its own classification. It's not like a uchikatana or a naginata or yari. It really is different. So a lot of people think because this handle isn't like 36 inches long, this is not a naginata. Or excuse me, nagamaki. That's not true. First off, there's no such standard to the nagamaki. Unlike the uchikatana, there's a set standard to these. Okay. Pretty much max length to keep calling this a katana is about 30 inches. Once you get into 32, it's starting to become more of maybe a tachi or even, you know, a nodachi. So there's actually set standards for the name actually starts changing. Okay. The way the handle's made, the handle, I've gone over this before, it should be made to fit your arm, you know, your arm length or your hand length. And the way you do that is your forearm. So this one's kind of short. It doesn't go all the way to my wrist. So from your wrist to your elbow is how long the ska should be. Katana isn't made to fit your body type. Okay, blade length, all that. So that's the standards to this thing, to katana. Now, historically, how these came about, nobody really knows. There's speculation that there was references during the Heian period, and these derived from nodachis. And how, this is all speculation, they don't know for sure. But with the nodachi, which I wish I had one, is they said it was kind of hard to wield some of them. So what happened was they would tie it said, a really tough cord to the tsuba, and then to about the middle of the blade on a nodachi to help give it more control. That's a tough cord because that edge is sharp. So let's just, yeah, this is why it's all speculation. You really didn't see these until the Sengoku period. And they did. They had long 36-inch blades. Kind of like, you know, this one you traditionally see. But some of them also had a 36-inch long blade along with the 36-inch handle. So it was a really big beast of a sword. Coming to the Edo period, though, things changed. Tactics for fighting changed. Hence the reason why the uchikatana is designed the way it is. So what they did was some would chop the handles all the way down, turn them into katana. Same with the naginata. So some liked the nagamaki. So what they did was they just chopped the handles down a little bit. This is almost a 16-inch handle with a 27.5-inch blade. Because you figured now they're not really fighting on the battlefield. They're fighting more close to a city-type environment. So if you have this great long handle, it's going to be kind of hard to move. So they would chop the handles down on them. Still keep them long because the handle has a purpose. Still, is considered a nagamaki. Where it came from, this is my personal thought. Nothing saying that this is how they came about. But when you look at the nagamaki, it's got an unakubi Zakuri blade. All of them do. Okay. So what I'm thinking is they probably took uchi katana like this and a naginata, which is a possibility. Like I said, this is just me saying this, and put the two together pretty much, because this is an unikubi blade, although this is an O naginata. It's got a wide blade, and came up with, well, the nagamaki, which is a possibility. Like I said, they really don't know how these came about. They just don't. Some Matt Easton couldn't believe that they would hand these to unexperienced people who couldn't use a yari. Well, when you think about it, what these are used for, yeah, you would give these to not very experienced person, because you would give some of these to low-ranking guys, because this is an anti-cavalry weapon. Okay? So you're not really using this on horse, you're on foot. Okay? So if you're going up against cavalry, someone on a horse, and you're on foot with one of these, I mean, you're already at a disadvantage, because that horse is moving pretty fast. They could either have a yari, the tachi, which had a 32-inch blade. They could be riding with a nodachi with a 36-inch blade, or a naginata. So you're at a disadvantage. So yeah, low-ranking soldiers you give those to, because you really didn't care if they died on the battlefield, unfortunately. It's just the way things were. So yeah, this is an anti-cavalry weapon. So the main target, unfortunately, was the horse. Now they would use these on other ground troops as well, you know. So basically how this thing works is pretty simple. Even with this one, with the short handle. It's very, very simple. It's not like using uchikatana. Uchikatana, you don't want to make huge, big swoops with it, okay? Because the whole point of it is you're going up against somebody else who also has one, and you need to recover quickly. This is the opposite. This thing, you definitely want to use big swoops for, because the whole point was to dismember a person in one fell swoop. That's why the long handle. So you would aim for the legs, take the leg off. You would aim for an arm, take the arm off. You can control it, especially with the handle this short. You can control it a lot more, kind of like the uchikatana. But still, to get that maximum cut out of it, you want to make a huge swoop with it. Momentum you want to keep behind it. Whereas with that, when you cut, you want to stop somewhere right in here quickly so you can recover and parry if you need to. So unlike the naginata, which you would use a lot differently, your hands pretty much stay stationed, stay apart like this. This is how you keep your hands on a naginata. Even the 36-inch ones, your hands will be out this way. Because take a horse's legs off, it's going to take some oomph. It's just the fact. That's what they were for. So yeah, they would have, that's why some would have like a 36-inch blade on it with a 36-inch handle. This is more for, you could say, close combat. Because if you have this thing with a 36 handle like this, and you're trying to use it in close quarters, or even on the battlefield one-on-one, you're going to have a hell of a time. I mean, yeah, you could use it as a spear, but if you had, because some with the 36-inch blade had a 28-inch blade. you're not still getting that much advantage, because even if you're doing this, if they jump out of the way, all they have to do is get past this blade. So it's not like a yari where it's double-edged. So if they try to move past you, you can swing it and still cut somebody. You have a mune, spine that's not sharp. So if all they have to do is move in that direction, where it's not going to get cut, and get past it. It's easier said than done, yes. But your hands always stay like this, and the reason being is it's going to give you the most leverage for cutting through a really thick target. That's why. So yeah, the shorter ones are still a nagamaki. Now, like I said, you don't move your hands on the nagamaki. As with a naginata, you would basically use your hands and move them back and forth, slide your hands on this, or you use the back side. That's why, not just for hanging, but you could smack somebody with it, and yes, has suba, because you would move your hands up even close, in close combat, so your hand didn't slide up on the blade. Now you take the uchi katana. You can use it one-handed, you can use it two-handed. I had somebody say, it's a one-handed sword. The katana. It's a one or two-handed sword, period. As you can see, this handle's a little bit shorter, like I said. I can still use it though. Whereas this one, I could really move it around. Okay, the katana can be a nimble sword, especially if you have a unakubi. But it's very maneuverable. Now, for using the nagamaki like you would this, kind of, nah, you really can't. Because if you're going to use a nagamaki, like I said, it's not like using a uchi katana. So you grab it and you can draw it really, really fast. And the handle doesn't stick way out here. Whereas if I take this and I put it in my belt, might be kind of hard to see. Look how much farther that sticks out. Okay, that sticks out there way, way, way much farther. And I could slide this in more, and it's still sticking way out there. So in order to draw this thing, I mean, look how far I have to extend myself because of that handle. So it's not practical to draw this because it's slower. Because you got this long handle here, it's going to slow you down because it's putting more weight on you. So yeah, to use a nagamaki like an uchi katana in Iaido, it won't really work that well. Can you do it? Yeah. It's going to look clumsy because of this long handle. That's why when people say, oh, during this time period they made 12-inch handles, give it more leverage. I've looked at a lot of antiques from Japan. And they don't have a really long handle on them. The handles actually vary. In fact, the blade lengths vary on the katana. Like I said, you want the best handle length for you that's comfortable. Measure from your wrist to your elbow. That's the easiest way to do it. People go, oh, hold it. So if it's like 2 inches from the ground, this and that, you don't have to go through all that. Measure from your wrist to your elbow. That's your skull length. You want your blade length so you can draw it perfectly. Measure from the tip of your middle finger to your shoulder. Mine's like 27 3/4. My arm will reach. So I could go with a 28-inch blade and be perfectly fine. 30 or over, you're not going to be able to draw that like that. That's the whole point of Iaido, is be able to draw a sword quickly in an unexpected attack. So, how do you draw the nagamaki then, right? Well, you would carry it basically. I mean, if you didn't want no one, you could carry it like this. Keep your thumb on it. That way, no one can grab it because it's a long handle. Or you carry it like that. And still, I mean, no one can take it away from you. But when you go to use it, you just get rid of this, basically. And then take a stance. But the nagamaki, like I said, it is definitely a beast of a sword of all its own. But once you understand what exactly this thing was used for specifically, it's not a complicated weapon to figure out. Like I said, it's used for big swoops. Could you use it one-handed? Yeah, you could. Very easily. You just got to remember, though, with this long handle, it's going to kind of sometimes get in your way. Now, it can give you advantages. So, if, let's say, you're going to take a hard hit, obviously you don't want to use the edge for that, but you can rest it on your forearm to give it more support if you're doing one-handed. But, other than that, it's going to get awkward. So, hopefully this made sense to some of you, exactly what this thing is for and how it's used. The usage is very simple. Big swoops with this. The katana, you want to keep everything closed in as much as possible so you can recover quickly to defend yourself. And really, if you're going to do big swoops and this is against cavalry, the horse isn't going to fight you. The guy on the horse is going to fight you. So really, yeah, you just do a big swoop, hope you, unfortunately, took the horse's leg off, which I just think was, I feel bad for the horse. But that was it. That's how this thing was used. Just an anti-cavalry weapon. So, hopefully you all enjoyed this one. And it was informative of what a nagamaki is. And yes, like with the photos, we're all used to seeing the long ones, but they did have chopped down ones. Or they just turned them into uchi katanas. Pretty much. So, we'll see you guys later, and take it easy.